Sponsored by Pizza Boat. Now open in Queens Court on West Bay Road. Pick up or delivery. Call 949,000 or order online at www.pizzaboat.ky.
Sports Extra on a Tuesday, keeping you informed.
We have 10 seasons tonight.
Sports Extra Cayman Islands.
A young team full of talent, full of desire to do good things.
We've had some success with the outdoor league being restarted.
Alrighty, good evening and welcome to Radio Cayman Sports Extra. I'm your host Dionne, and tonight we have a very special panel, and we will be chatting in our very first segment with Coach Dionne Lafayette. I know his name is very familiar to all sports enthusiasts that tune in the 6 o'clock hour to our sports reports. So he's now actually the former Cayman Islands national women's football coach, and he's here to tell us all about that. Coach, good evening.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. It's great to have you on board finally. Coach Lafayette is one of the Caribbean's most respected youth football coaches, a leader in soccer training for the last 35 years. Wow. That's incredible. And he's also an internationally recognized coach, a lecturer, clinician, and motivational speaker. Right? So that's amazing. We can't wait to hear all about that. However, in the second segment, we will be chatting with powerlifters Ariana McCoy, Shania Britton. They all placed bronze. They got bronze this week in the 20th annual IPF and NAPF North American Regional Powerlifting Championships that was held at the Marriott Resort all of this week. It saw 13 Cayman Islands athletes represent, and of course, along with 300 athletes from 15 different countries from around the region. So when we get back from our break and we hear from our sponsor, we're going to hear more about Coach Lafayette and his journey here in Cayman, and of course his life story. We want to hear all about it. Stay tuned.
All aboard the Pizza Boat! Cayman's newest pizzeria. Birthday parties, office luncheons, summer camps, game night. Whatever your occasion, bring the fun with Pizza Boat. Add Cayman twist to pizza, bringing fusion ingredients from all over the globe to give you locally inspired fresh pizzas all day, every day. What's more, now you can enjoy a boat-shaped pizza with toppings of your choice. It's Pizza Boat. Pizza Boat, now open in Queens Court on West Bay Road. Pick up or delivery 949-0000 or order online www.pizzaboat.ky. Pizza Boat. Experience the ultimate pizza voyage.
It's one of the best moments of your life when you welcome your baby into the world. The HSA's experienced women's health and maternity team provides the highest quality of care throughout your pregnancy and delivery. As a JCI accredited hospital, we are the leader in maternal care, safely delivering over 700 babies annually. Visit hsa.ky for more information. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
We are now in the hurricane season, and to survive a hurricane, you need to be informed. If you have been informed by official sources that a hurricane is approaching the Cayman Islands, and you live in a low-lying area that is prone to flooding or near the beaches, which may be swept by high tides or storm waves, please seek a safe place and high ground. If the only way for you to get to a safe place is a road that is also likely to be flooded during a storm, please leave home early. Don't run the risk of being stranded. This has been a public service announcement from your community station, Radio Cayman.
For the Record is brought to you by the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey. Help the Ministry of Health and Wellness shape the future of Cayman's healthcare. Visit gov.ky/steps to learn more. Catch For the Record, your go-to source for informed discussions on policy, government initiatives, and issues that impact and concern the Cayman Islands. For the Record, airing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning, 7:30 to 10 a.m.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Alrighty, welcome back to Radio Cayman Sports Extra. We have Coach Dionne Lafacade, my namesake. Except you spell yours differently, right? The male way, as most would say in Trinidad, all right? The
So
male
true.
way. Yeah. All right, so welcome to Sports Extra. I was hoping to have you on here for different circumstances.
Yeah.
But, things happen. And because of that, you're here today. One of the reasons you're here today. Before we get into all of that, though, please share with us a little bit about yourself. Tell the people of the Cayman Islands about who you are.
Okay, I consider myself, some people consider me a coach, but I consider myself a LEC.
Mm-hmm.
And the LEC is what I call a life enhancement coach.
Okay.
And my reason for that is that my, over 30 years experience coaching has taught me that my coaching is really player-centered. I'm somebody that really cares about players based on my own experience, playing football in high school, St. Anthony's College in Trinidad, and I finished at 16 and I got a knee injury and I still wanted to be involved in the game.
Right.
And I decided to get into coaching, not having a clue about what coaching entailed. But it was a long journey, and has seen me travel around the world as a coach, becoming qualified and doing a bunch of coaching, not only in Trinidad but different parts of the world. So my journey is an interesting one. It's somebody who just wanted to stay involved in the game and not being able to play again at a high level, and it really, really inspired me to go on and change lives. And I had a football school in Trinidad, and eventually moved abroad, moved to the States. I did some coaching in England, different parts of the world, and it took me from one level to another level.
And at what point, how did you get in touch with the Cayman Islands? How did you get here?
Well, funny enough, I had honestly no intentions of coming to Cayman Islands. Through a friend of mine who I coached many, many years ago, Tiana Jan, who lives here now. She's married here. Happily.
I know Tiana. How did you coach Tiana?
Well, Tiana was in my coaching school in Trinidad. So I had my coaching school.
Is Tiana Trinidadian?
Tiana is Trinidadian, and thousands of players have passed through my school, and Tiana being one of them. And this is over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And Tiana contacted me and said, "Coach, is that something you'd be interested in?" And I thought about it. I was actually just about to take up a contract in Dubai, a very big contract there. And I said, you know what? I spoke to the powers that be here, and kind of got sold on what they wanted to do, the intentions of what they wanted to do with Cayman football, and I kind of saw it as a sleeping giant, so to speak, and felt that I could help, make some, not necessarily get to the promised land, but help the country get to the promise, or point them in the right direction.
Awesome. What's some of the most memorable moments you have as a coach?
That's a great question. Most people would say, winning trophies and winning tournaments, and so for me, no. I've met players all over the world. Sometimes you meet them in airports or different parts, and then they tell you, "Coach, I want to thank you for what you've meant in my life." Right. And there's no amount of money in the world can pay for, can pay me once you're having a positive impact on players. I think that is my enjoyment in coaching and helping players to fulfill their fullest potential. I think that's really a joy for me. I mean, my phone goes off the hook. Even today, one of the players got high school all-state and wanted to share that with me. And I have numerous stories like that. So that's my really enjoyment in coaching.
Awesome. And what are the three most pivotal moments in your career that has gotten you to where you are today?
I would think one, going back to my high school days, when I told my high school coach that I wanted to become a coach, he found it a bit funny because I was quite young.
Okay.
And I did go home and I was a bit sad that my high school coach is somebody you look up to. And he kind of laughed at me. And I went home and I cried because I felt a little bit hurt.
Hurt, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to show him, that I'm going to become one of the best young coaches in the world. So that was great for me. And then doing my first coaching course, there was a coach of Canada by the name of Tony Waiters. When I went to a coaching seminar, he asked me, he said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, I can't play again. I want to be a coach." And he really, when somebody says something to you, somebody you look up to, and he said, "Young man, the fact that you are here putting in that kind of effort with all these senior coaches, you make the effort and go for it. So that was powerful to me. And then I've had a few other mentors in my life, top coaches in the world, who have said, you're quite young for a coach, and continue giving it your best shot. I used to go into what we had in Trinidad, the Ministry of Sport, and back in 1989, Trinidad and Tobago almost qualified for a World Cup. And the coach of that team, Everett Galley Cummins, I would go into the Ministry of Sport and sit down and ask him a bunch of questions about coaching. And funny enough, Tony Gray, who was the West Indies bowler at that time, said to me, young man, I don't know who you are, but you always come in here, wanting to learn. And I want to encourage you. So I had very many people around me who I guess saw some sort of potential in me and wanted to encourage me along with my family.
You may have said it, but I missed it. How old were you when you started?
At 16.
Oh, no wonder your coach looked at you. Well, that's good, though. That's actually pretty good that you started that young.
Well, I wanted to stay in the game.
Yeah.
And the only way I thought I could stay in the game is maybe through coaching.
Yeah.
So that's one of the ways I decided to stay in the game. And I've gotten involved in other aspects of the game as well. I'm also a FIFA safeguarding officer.
Okay.
But I love coaching. I actually love coaching, and I love putting a smile on players' face and pushing them to work hard. So some people say I'm a hard taskmaster.
Right.
But while getting them to fulfill their potential. So that's I think as a coach, you want to be able to unlock in players who sometimes doubt themselves. They have all these apprehensions of going on to fun. Can I show them their potential? And that's what I love to do.
Awesome. What's a safeguarding officer exactly?
So safeguarding officer is kids who are, let's say nicely, who go through physical abuse, verbal abuse, with coaches giving them a way of reporting, and us dealing with situations in clubs. And so I think one of the things that we will do is that if there's a 51% chance of something happening, we investigate and putting protocols in place, putting safeguarding measures, criteria for coaches, code of conducts, and different things that coaches have to follow,
right,
and try to make the environment safe for athletes who want to play the game.
Awesome. I like that. So you moved your entire life to the Cayman Islands, and however, it's been a bit short-lived. It's been 2 months, and we received. Well, before I get there, what has your experience been like with the Cayman Islands?
Right,
not on the field, off the field.
Okay, so off the field, it's been interesting. It's been interesting. When you come in as a coach, there's always sometimes a new, different. I should say a different philosophy and also different methodology.
Okay.
So I would have had my experiences of what I think is the right thing to do, and I don't think some people share that view 100%. So it was very challenging in that sense, having to work with some of the staff who saw things a little bit differently. And of course, I did, me being who I am, even though with that little resistance,
right,
I decided to see how best I could work in this environment and bring about some change. And it's very difficult for some people
to adjust.
To adjust. But again, I kept the players at focus. Because I actually saw the players improving and seeing the players wanting to go from one level to another level, and I think I would have sparked into these players a chance of a sense of hope, because I know when I came in, one of the things I said in the press conference is that Cayman Islands is ranked 169, and I want to get them in the top 80. And one of the players said to me, she said, "Coach, I have to be honest with you. When you came in and you said that, we all kind of said, is this guy for real?"
Well, that shows how much they believe in themselves as well, though.
Because you're ranked 169 in the world, and this guy is talking about getting us in the top 80. And what happened is that the players started to say, "Coach, we actually think we realize that you're serious."
Yeah.
And we starting to feel that we feel ever qualify for a World Cup, but we have that chance. So I started to see the change in players, even the senior players who, I was with senior players. They've been there, done that, and been through many different coaches and different, again, philosophies and methodologies. But they started to believe in what I was doing.
Yeah. And what did you think of our girls' football program? And what you spoke about changes as well. What sort of changes were you trying to make?
Well, one, if you need to bring structure.
Yes.
You need to bring structure. You need to bring discipline, and it's just a simple thing. I'll say a simple thing of no jewelry at practice. All right, because that's not my rules. That's FIFA rules. Making sure we're wearing the same attire, making sure we come into practice on time, and sort of a code of conduct. That I came up with a code of conduct with some different words that the players not only read every practice, but started to believe and started to understand what professionalism is about, what dedication is about, what commitment is about. So all these different things, I brought meaning to it. And this is not just about football. This is about life.
Yes,
so
of course.
I had to first deal with the players' attitude and commitment.
And you're going to find those that will try you as well.
Oh, I had honestly, I had a few of those. But you know what's funny? The players understood that I wanted the best for them. And I had players come back, they apologize, and we moved on, because that's part of sport. You're going to always have those players who going to push the boundaries and decide if they're going to go the distance.
But the players look at that too and realize that coach cares as well.
Well, there's a saying that nobody cares what you know or how much knowledge you have until they know that you care.
Right.
And I live by that. And these players realize very, very quickly that this guy actually cares. He's not just here for a paycheck, right? The money I got here is not you can't compare it to the money I would have gotten in Dubai. And all due respect to the Cayman Football Association, I didn't come here for money.
Right.
I came here, thinking that there is hope here. Right, the rules of FIFA says you can only put 11 players on the field at a time. So even though you have to play against America, and they have 300-something million people.
Yeah,
Cayman has 69,000. Guess what? You can only put 11 players on the field at a time, and so whereas other countries might rely on individual players, my idea, my philosophy was to get these players to be unified in a strength, to be strong as one,
right? And
not depending on any one player, because if you depend on only one player, what happens if that player is injured or no longer plays in the program?
Right.
So it's about the country, getting together and getting on the same page, and I actually started to see that happening.
Awesome. I like that. But there was a recent press release sent out by FIFA stating that you are, of course, they didn't renew your contract there. Care to share what happened there? What went wrong? And I would say the word wrong because it's only been 2 months. The press release, the press conference that was held, they seemed very excited to have you here in the Cayman Islands. So what do you know? What happened, or can you share?
To be quite honest, I've been asking that question for the last couple of days. I've heard different rumblings here and there, but I haven't seen anything really and truly in black and white from the association. I think there was a difference in philosophy, a difference in methodology, and I think, to be honest, I was a bit disappointed because I could see the island going forward, but I'm still trying to find out why, and then I could really address what I think is, because obviously there are two sides to a coin, and I would like a chance to basically defend myself, although the association, I will tell you this, the players have went back to the association and asked the association, look, regardless of what you all think about Dionne, can we still have Dionne for our competition? And they said absolutely not.
Okay.
So there was an attempt to get me back on board, even for the tournament that starts in September with the senior ladies, and of course the association said no. So I mean, that's life, and you have to move on. But I really wanted to make a difference in the program and felt that I could, and I started to see that difference already.
What you shared just a little detail, but what was the response from the athletes when they heard that you're no longer going to be with them?
I have had quite a bit of the players, and I think the majority of the players reaching out to me and sending me all these messages, and they are sorry what happened. They wish I could have been there, and that is only comforting for me that these players will go out of their way to reach out to me and express how they felt about the situation. What is baffling again is that the players like myself are still wondering what it has really happened. There was a meeting that I was not invited to, that the players went to, and the administration said we no longer have Coach Dionne there. But the players left the meeting just as they went in, still wondering what are the reasons you all have removed Coach Dionne. And the players, I think, are still wanting to find that out. And that is something that the association, I think, should really come up and say these are the reasons, and give me a chance to defend my name and myself, because it's very rare that you'll see players in a room crying, and talking to the powers that be and saying, why did you remove our coach? And what I found out is that this is not the first time it's happened. Okay. So this is about, I think, the probably fourth or fifth time this has happened where a coach has been removed. And when you're changing coaches so often, of course, the association is there to how should I say, to guide the program, so to speak. They want what I believe is what's best for the program, but you also have to take into consideration the athletes,
right?
Because the athletes are the ones that need to be heard. They're the ones that are experiencing the coach on the field, and so those are the ones that need to be given the opportunity to say exactly how they feel. And I think that was not, in my opinion, that was not done properly, giving the athletes a chance to say how they feel, right? And because they are paramount, they're experiencing the coach, and if you have athletes, I mean, Dionne, to be quite honest, if you have players crying and saying this is unfair,
well,
it's really, really strange.
And to be honest, I've had several people call me and they were very disheartened. They were very disappointed. I've had several chats, group chats, WhatsApp chats, where people are very disappointed because they loved, in the short space of time, they admired, respected, and loved the work that you did. There were a lot of players that voiced their opinions in terms of them loving the work that you did. And based on what Radio Cayman has heard, apparently some athletes were thrown off of the national women's team because of, I'm not sure, maybe you can clarify for us, for speaking out on behalf of you there, or for things that that is not being done by SIFA. So I'm not quite clear on that, but there is a protest, a women's team protest that's gearing up. So what do we do with something like this?
Well, to be honest, I mean, I'll have to talk a little bit about myself as former technical director for Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay.
And I remember sitting in a meeting, and the women senior players in Trinidad and Tobago had different issues over the years, different issues that they were not happy with, and I was able to bear the brunt of the women. You know, basically, you know, they saw me as the association. And telling me how they felt, and what I did is I received what they said, and basically I made sure my bosses had an audience with the women so they could voice their opinion instead of hearing it secondhand from me. And my bosses, to be fair to them, they met with the women along with myself again,
right?
And these women were able to air their different concerns, because that's what I'm saying. This situation,
but are they allowed to do that here?
The impression I've gotten, has not been the case, and that I think is something that is has me and all baffled. Why the women are not given a voice? You have to hear what they are saying, and for players to say that they're not playing right now, and those who are receiving letters about they disbanded from the program, and so I think better has to be done. Give the ladies a chance to air their views. You could disagree with them, but give them a chance to be heard, and that's all I. You know, the ladies have expressed to me, and I don't think this is the time to do it, quite a few concerns that they had from before I came, long before I came. And it's not my place to do anything about it because I'm not the person in charge of it. However, I will defend players who have expressed certain things to me. And I believe that they need to be given a voice. They have all these different concerns that they want the powers that be, so to speak, to hear what their concerns are, because, you know, these women, from just my little time with them, they really feel when they don't do well. They really feel sad, and they get, you know, one of them was telling me that when they go out there and the fans complain about them and tell them they're no good, or they have they have too much weight, and the this and the that and the that, they feel really, really hurt, because they're the ones that go out there and sacrifice. Sacrifice, but you have to give the ladies the things that they need in order to get, you know, to have more success.
Right.
You know, no amount of training or preparation guarantees success, because it all comes down to game day and what happens on that day. But at the end of the day, you have to give the ladies chance to be heard and hear them out. They're the ones that I had done something, Dionne, which is a bit unusual. I'd asked all the ladies, even the younger players, to the senior players, to write me a letter telling me a bit about themselves, just a sort of a get to know you essay, but in that essay to also put why they wanted to represent their country. I started to read those letters, and literally tears came to my eye, because here are women who have given up, sacrificed a lot. Some sacrificed their families, some sacrificed their schooling, different things to represent the country. And because when you're a top athlete, sometimes you're training 5-6 days a week.
Of course,
it takes a lot from you, and to hear what these women are willing to give up, and some of the women are actually very, very articulate and very, very intelligent. Some of them have their master's degrees, but they still decided to play for the country. They have some of them who could have played for other countries, but decided no, they want to play for Cayman Islands. So when you have that sort of passion, you want to fuel that. You want to give them the best opportunities. You want to do what is best for them. Because I was very, very impressed, getting to reading those essays, knowing that women here really want to excel.
Yes.
And I was really glad to be part of that program.
And speaking of that, what are your views on the talent and the potential that you saw with our football or women's football players here?
I've seen, even the younger group all the way up, I've seen many, many players who, with the right guidance,
yes,
the sky is the limit. The sky is the limit. We just had one of the players who went off to play in Wales, Molly Keyhole, and she's a joy to coach.
Yes.
But there are many, many players, and I kept saying, I want to help you guys produce many of those type of players, and who could even go way and beyond, because some players you will have to, as a young age, you have to fast track them.
Yes.
You have to be psychologically ready, of course, physically ready, technically and tactically. Those are things that you could work on. But you have many, many talented players here. And I'm not just saying that to sound nice. I've seen tremendous amount of talent even in the young groups. I'm wondering if this group stays together and they get the right sort of coaching and exposure, these groups can go really, really far. Again, Jamaica, watching Jamaica play in the World Cup.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
That tells me, it even gave me more fuel to know that, hey, we are not far from Jamaica. I mean, an hour by plane, but we can have those sort of dreams as well. And the ladies started to believe that as well.
Yes.
So you have, again, I'll say you have tremendous raw material here, tremendous potential. But at the end of the day, is what happens with that raw material, right? You based on the vision, the mission, things. There's talent here, but you got to do it strategically.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I definitely agree. So what's next for you? When do you leave?
I leave sadly, I leave on Thursday.
Okay.
And I arrive back in Trinidad on Friday. I have 2 stops along the way.
Okay. I know you have, I know it doesn't end here for you. So what's next for you?
So for me, what's next for me? I'm actually, I'm signing a contract actually in a few days with Atletico Madrid.
Okay.
And
awesome.
Doing,
nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. And doing some camps and different things for them and Atletico Madrid is about to set up a coaching school in this part of the world with their coaches, and I would be overseeing that for them. So lots of things on the horizon. I have other projects for FIFA and other projects that I am going to be involved in.
Okay. I
mean, for me, I'm employable, but what I feel sad for is I'm hoping, I really pray that Cayman Islands, football, if this is a little bump in the road, give these ladies a chance to be heard, and let's see what happens from there.
And, congratulations to Molly Kehoe as well and her family. This is huge. It's the only football player in the Cayman Islands that has reached at this level, playing in a pro football league, Cardiff City Bluebirds. It is.
Yes.
What are your views before we go on that particular experience that she's about to have?
Well, I've been in contact with her quite a few times, and we spoke even a couple of days ago. She's thrilled to be given an opportunity, but she's even more thrilled, which I think is phenomenal, to inspire the younger players coming up.
Yes.
And I think she's really has her head on her shoulder, and she sees it as an opportunity, not only for herself, but to get many players like herself, and even with more ability, moving forward. So I think for the country, it's a blessing, because you really need that marquee player to sort of blaze that trail, so to speak.
Right.
And she has certainly done that, and I wish her all the best. But I know there are many players that are going to follow in her footsteps.
Yeah, and hopefully she opens the doors to that, right? Because Molly is a fantastic athlete, though. She's not just a great football player, She played good basketball as well, cricket,
rugby,
track and field. She is just what you call an all-rounder. Yeah, she's amazing. So congratulations again to her, and all the best to you, Coach. Wishing you all the best. It's a very unfortunate situation that you will no longer be here. I was hoping to hear more great things about what you've done with the program, but I guess we'll hear it internationally.
Yeah, not a problem at all. And let me say quickly, thank you for having me.
Yeah,
and also, I've made many great friends here, even in a short time. And I know I would have friends in Cayman Islands, never thought I would come today. I actually visited the museum and it was wonderful. You guys have rich history here.
Yes.
Rich history, and it's a really fantastic place. And I would be an ambassador, to be quite honest, for Cayman Islands.
Would you come back?
I would definitely come back.
Yeah, visit.
Definitely come back.
Awesome. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. And stay tuned. We have some powerlifters. I was about to say rugby. We have some powerlifters next. All right, so stay tuned.
The 6:15 Weather Report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by CG Britcay. Insurance, health, pensions, life, where people come first.
I'm Kenneth Bryan, Minister for Tourism and Ports, and I need your help to keep our beautiful islands clean. Littering is unsightly and negatively impacts our tourism industry, which is crucial to our economy. Keeping our islands clean is everyone's responsibility, so let's all work together to keep the Cayman Islands beautiful for generations to come.
Be a part of the solution, not the pollution. Littering is a crime punishable by a $500 fine or 6 months in prison. Brought to you by the Beautification Task Force and Ministry of Tourism and Ports.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecasts, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman, 89.9 FM.
STEPS participant, if you're wondering why the STEPS team can't get your blood sugar or cholesterol data directly from your doctor, the answer is simple. Your personal medical information is private and confidential. This is why we need you to participate in Step 3, so that we can collect the data we need with your informed consent. So please say yes to Step 3. For more information, call the STEPS team 936-4969.
Here is where tradition never dies. This is your radio, Cayman.
All right, welcome back to Radio Cayman Sports Extra. Thank you to Coach Dionne Lafacade for coming by. And we have two wonderful ladies in the studio with us, inspiring ladies. And I'll have you all introduce yourselves.
I am Shania Espinoza Britton. I currently work for the Ministry of Financial Services and Commerce as an HR officer. And I'm also a power lifter.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm Ariana Semenita McCoy. I just graduated from the University of Warwick from Health and Medical Sciences. I'll be going on to my master's in occupational therapy. And just like Shania, I'm also a powerlifter.
And both Caymanians.
Yes,
right. Yeah,
Caymanians.
Amazing. Awesome. So what I have here, I have a little notes, right? So Shania, you won bronze in the women's open 84 plus kg.
Correct.
Right? Bronze in the squat, bronze in the deadlift. Ariana, you won bronze overall as well. Bronze in the squat, silver in the bench press, and bronze in the deadlift.
Correct.
Share your experiences with us. How was it?
Should I go first? Yeah.
You can go first.
Ariana.
Yeah.
So, it was both of our first experiences
Yes.
with meets and everything. And to be on an international platform was nerve-wracking leading up to it. But with Mr. Tony's guidance, actually, it was absolutely amazing. I had my headphones on, and he took my headphones off for me and said, okay, you're up. And I would quickly do up my wrist strap. And the next thing I was out on stage, and it was almost like there was no audience there. It was absolutely amazing. I really enjoyed it. And in reviewing my clips and everything, and I think I did as well as I could. I'm really happy with my silver bench because I haven't hit 80 in about 2 months, and it went up so easily. I'm really proud of it.
Okay, all right. And Shania?
Yes, like Ariana have said, it was a really good experience to just be recognized and be there to represent the Cayman Islands.
At home too, huh?
Oh,
yes,
definitely.
Yeah.
My championships, oh my gosh, that's always been my dream. And see me there representing on a powerlifting event. It was a really good experience. The audience, I'm glad that I was at home because it felt like home.
Yeah.
I
have to
could
say
hear
that too,
the screams.
They were so supportive.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even the other athletes were in the crowd as well. It was a really good event, and I'm looking forward to the next one next year.
Yeah, we both met multiple. Yeah. We met Ray as well. We got pictures with him, and that was really exciting to see someone that holds so many world records, and they're so casual with it. It's absolutely amazing to interact with them.
Was he the one that was supposed to lift the 1,000 pounds?
Yes.
Yes.
How did that go for him? I didn't get to see it.
Unfortunately, I believe he actually hurt his hamstring because there's videos of him on the Powerlifting America Instagram.
Yes.
And he was struggling to sit down. If you look at his deadlifts, you can see that he's quite in pain. But he opened up with an amazing squat of I think it was 415 kg that he opened up with, which is about 945.
Okay. I was just about to say, please tell me it in pounds.
Yeah. Over 900 pounds. It was absolutely amazing. And it was very casual for him.
Casual?
Yeah. That was his opener. It was very casual.
Oh, wow. That's kind of like how the bench was for you. Yeah.
Yes, that was. I was really happy with that as well because that is 195 pounds, I believe.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And for you didn't do bench.
I didn't earn a medal in the bench.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately.
Oh, but you did do the bench.
I did do the bench.
Okay. And I may have asked you guys this after the tournament, but which one is your forte?
For me, it's most definitely bench, as you probably noticed.
Yes.
I absolutely love it. It was really funny talking to Ray with it. Yeah.
Her response is my response.
It's untypical for females to be bench, but I've built up all my strength in my upper body, and I'm extremely happy with it because typically I've got most of my strength in my lower body. Okay. And I've come a long way with it. That's why it's my favorite. My coach has to tell me not to do bench rather than to do it.
And what about you, Shania?
For me, it's definitely deadlift.
Okay.
I enjoy it. I love it to the bone. Oh my gosh, deadlift is me.
Awesome. So who or what inspired you guys to get involved with powerlifting?
So for me, my coach in the UK is my partner, and I got together with him about a year ago, and he's the one that brought me back into the gym because we were good friends before that. And he said, after my Easter break back home, he said, why don't we go to the gym? And since then, it's kind of history. I immediately got back into it. I used to do shot put and things like that for school, and I had records within it. I was always really strong. And so to have a forte where I felt comfortable within my body, and I was able to really push myself to the limit, I really missed that. So immediately just tried to get my numbers up with it. It was amazing.
And for me, I started a gym back in January, just working out and looking forward to just keeping in shape. And 2 months out from this championships, I learned about the event.
Okay.
Through a friend of mine, and he was like, "You look like you could do this event. You should sign up." So he referred me to Cayman Powerlifting. I signed up, did the anti-doping course, and I started pumping ever since. So within 2 months of just putting myself together, I came out with a bronze, and I'm very much
That's
satisfied.
amazing, to see that you only started 2 months ago. And and for an international tournament of this magnitude, you medaled.
Definitely.
Yeah.
There were some insane people that came to this, including her. So there was Miss Bodden that came. She's 18 years old, meant to be in sub-junior. She went for her open, and she opened with the world record squat, and she now holds. And she was amazing to see that. And I think everyone's experience in KM powerlifting is slightly different. I think Jordan, for example, has already done the NAPS, but it was my first experience. And Mr. Tony scouted me back in, I believe it was February. He found my Instagram and saw that I had the Cayman flag and powerlifter. He said, "Do you want to compete?" I was like, "Of course I want to compete."
I would get you too. That's amazing. So why powerlifting? for you, Shania? Why?
Well, I feel like I'm an all-rounded sports individual. I just
Yes.
love sports on a whole, and anything to do to represent my country, I will definitely do it. Powerlifting, I currently do flag football, and it has a lot to do with strength as I'm
Right.
on the offense line. I'm a blocker. So I felt like what other way
Yes.
best to utilize my strength and get into powerlifting. So within 2 months of powerlifting, I feel like I'm going to do this for many, many more years to come. And I'm looking forward to the next championships in Arizona next year.
Yeah, we'll be going to Miss
Yes.
Boden's country and state.
Definitely.
And as I said, for me, it came quite naturally with my partner. And as
Yes.
soon as I started, just like Shania,
Yeah.
it's going to be, I'll be going into Masters 4 at this point.
Is there anyone at that tournament in particular that inspired you all?
I keep mentioning her, but definitely Miss Boden.
Just-
Because 18 years old, she's only been powerlifting 1 year. And I was talking to her coach as well. And he was talking about how she actually came from foster care and everything. And she's
Okay.
put her entire life into and it's given her meaning. And very similar to her, powerlifting definitely gives you a meaning to your body, strength-wise. And Mr. Tony spoke about this as well. But when you go into the gym and you know you're going there to lift, that's all you think about. And so for me, that I work and I also, obviously a student and everything, I was in the midst of my dissertation, it gave me an outlook to kind of calm my mind and get back into everything once I came with a better mindset.
And you, Shania?
Unfortunately for me, I didn't get to mingle a lot with the athletes, so nothing really inspired me. But
Is that that's because that's your personality, yeah? She's very shy.
no, I was
seem very
I was
shy.
actually helping a lot out on the event
That's
day.
true. You were, yeah.
So I didn't
because you
really
helped. You
get
assisted me as well.
I didn't really get
My
the
T-shirt.
opportunity. But just looking at Ray alone and observing his profile on Instagram, social media, I'm like, yeah, this guy could really inspire me, and he's been doing it for years. And to see where he is at, I'm looking forward to be there one day too.
Awesome. And
So-
apart from you guys, there was this lady from USA, short blonde hair. She was amazing as well, very strong. I just can't remember what category she
An
was
older
in.
lady?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was also a Canadian lady, and she was the only one, I believe, in Masters 4.
Okay.
And I was actually talking to her, and she was talking about how her arthritis and her joints were acting up because she
Right.
came to a hotter country.
Right.
She was
Oh,
having
my.
to wear her older knee sleeves because she was trying to break in her new one. And she absolutely demolished it. She said that she was not going to go for anything heavy, and she demolished it. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So definitely going into that.
Awesome. What keeps you motivated?
I mean, you probably see a lot of videos about this, but once you're within like the next year and everything, it's less about motivation and more that it's become such a habit. It's a bit of determination.
Gotcha.
Because especially leading up to this, I got sick during the last 3 weeks. And so for 1 week, I was just pushing through it, and I still had to get my body to move because otherwise it gets really stiff and everything. And last thing I wanted to do was then go back the week after, get really heavy, and then injure myself. So it's pushing through with the determination, and that within itself motivates you. Because for me, I would finish work at 8 p.m., and next thing I know, I'm at the gym at 9. I'll be there at least 2 hours.
Yes.
So yeah, and a lot that Ariana has just said, definitely. For me too, it's my family. I just want to make a change and just continue to create history here in the Cayman Islands.
Wonderful.
So that has kept me motivated for the longest while, just being here and creating history. As
Awesome.
a young female, being the only female in my weight category, this is real history for Cayman Islands.
I definitely agree with that, because we were speaking the other day as well, and the fact that Cayman needs a lot more female representation, because
Right.
when you see those females, it automatically motivates other females into it. And both of us are here. Reach us out to on like our Instagram or anything. I'm happy to help. And even if you just need someone to talk to, it's amazing to have those people within the career or whatever you want to go
Yes.
into. And even if you're not in that career, you're seeing these powerful women, and it makes you want to be powerful yourself.
It definitely did. I was sitting there and I just wanted to be powerful.
Come
I just wanted to
join
put a
us.
cape on, you know? I don't know, my back. Ooh. That's the next thing to talk about, the injuries that some of you may suffer doing this sport. Do you guys have any injuries? You ladies, I should say.
All the time.
Yeah.
Well, for me, My apologies.
That's
For
okay.
me, going into this, I have always had back issues,
Right.
but I've learned to like cater myself, so I approach it from a different perspective,
Okay.
and from then I haven't been having back issues.
So it's more of a mental thing, because I remember
Yes.
speaking to you
Definitely.
as well.
It's definitely a mental
It's
push
more of-
through.
And getting rest for sure, and
Yes.
just keeping
Protein
massaged
needs to be
and
high
yes,
as well.
definitely.
You know, people don't understand how important sleep is
Oh, yes.
for the healing of your
One
back.
of my studies in university was actually all about that, and the
Yeah.
circadian rhythm, and the fact that even if you're getting 8 hours of sleep,
Mm-hmm.
the fact that you're changing your nightly schedule so often naturally means that you're getting less like REM sleep or deep sleep and everything, and your deep sleep is so important for
Right.
muscle recovery. And so if someone's going to the gym and they think that, oh, I'm going to bed like 9 to like 6, that's amazing, but the next night they're out until late and then it's 12 to like 8, great, you got 8 hours of sleep both times at least, but now you've messed up your circadian rhythm.
Yes.
And naturally your sleep quality is then taking the kind of blame of it.
Right.
So you're more prone to injuries, and then everything takes a toll on you.
Awesome. And how important is nutrition, and what percentage would you ascribe its importance?
So it depends on what kind of particular, as you would say, sport you're really into.
Yeah.
Because, for example, bodybuilders are a lot more strict with their diets than powerlifters, because powerlifters require like a lot more carbs to keep them fueled
Right.
without, because they're typically going heavier and they're less bodily focused and more strength focused. Powerlifters, like for the lead up of my my competition, I had cocoa bread from Hurley's in my bag, and I had given some to Shania as well, because it just really keeping you up.
Mm-hmm.
And then salt had to be high to reduce cramps as well, but definitely does take into consideration. For me, I would label it at least 30 to 40%.
And how do you balance eating all those carbs but still staying healthy enough?
I think everything needs to be within moderation.
Right.
I don't typically eat that high of a calorie.
Right.
And so, for example, if I have to have high calories, what I had instead is I had protein flapjack, was available at my gym. That was 16 grams of protein and 500 calories. So it meant my calories are really high, but I wasn't just eating like, for example, like McDonald's hamburgers or something. Versus when I actually had the lead up to the competition, it was a lot more like just kind of white bread, for example,
Yes.
because that was what I had at the time, and it was an immediate source of it.
Okay.
And also being careful, for example, if you have intolerances to things. For example, I have a lactose intolerance, so I was staying away from cheese and lead up to the competition.
Okay.
What about you?
Well, I think too, it all depends on the category you're in. So for me, I'm in open, so I feel like I still ate the way that I ate leading up to the competition.
Whatever that is.
My hamburgers, my hot dogs, my pizza.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, I mean, going forward, I would definitely want to change my diet and just even see other ways where I could become better and more stronger and perform more better. So
Because I've also seen where, some athletes are heavy set, that powerlift,
Yes.
but there are some that are lean as well.
Yeah.
That depends on what category they're doing. Or,
Definitely.
Yeah.
So they're separated by obviously their ages. So
Yes.
they're sub-junior, junior, open, then go into your masters. But they're also separated by weight class. Both me and Shania are in the open weight class of 84
Okay.
plus, and the men's open weight class is then 120 kg
Gotcha.
plus. I plan on personally cutting down to that lower weight category, both for overall health and also the fact that once I cut down to that, I'll kind of be a bit of a non-stoppable machine at
Yes.
that point. And I'm going out for records with it, because I would love to bring that title back to the Cayman Islands. Although I hoped for a gold medal, I got a silver. I want to bring back more to my country.
Awesome. Well, speaking of carbs, if you're looking for any carbs after this, our sponsor is Pizza Boat. We're going to take a short break to hear a little bit about them. Stay tuned.
I love Pizza Boat. It's yummy. It has my two favorite things combined, cheese and boats. Pizza Boat makes pizza way more fun.
Hop on board the Pizza Boat Express. Kids, now Pizza Boat makes pizza even more fun. Summer is here. Lunch or dinner, let Pizza Boat bring the fun. Pizza Boat, a Cayman twist to pizza, bringing fusion ingredients from all over the globe to give you locally inspired fresh pizzas all day, every day. Pizza Boat, now open in Queens Court on West Bay Road. Pick up or delivery 949-0000 or order online www.pizzaboat.ky.
I am Teresa Pitcairn, the chairperson of the Cayman Islands Beautification Task Force. Derelict vehicles are not only unsightly, they also lower the quality of life in our neighborhoods and pose serious public health and safety risk. To report a derelict vehicle, please call the Department of Environmental Health on 949-6696.
Be a part of the solution, not the pollution. Littering is a crime punishable by a $500 fine or 6 months in prison. Brought to you by the Beautification Task Force and Ministry of Tourism and Ports.
Radio Cayman News.
Wednesday's interest rate hike by the U.S. Federal Reserve.
Retail banks will stand by their commitment to implement a 30-day notice period before passing on the latest interest rate increase.
The governor issued her first proclamation as governor on Monday.
Said littering is a serious concern that is placing an increasing burden on society.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
The voice.
The heart. The soul of the Cayman Islands.
All right, welcome back to Radio Cayman. Sports Extra, Ariana and Shania, bronze medalists at the recent powerlifting championships held here in Cayman, and they're just sharing their experience with us. I know that there was the anti-dopers were on board at the tournament as well. Did any of you get selected by any chance? Because it's random selection. Did any of you by any chance got random selected, or do you know of anyone that could have shared their experience of how that was for them?
I don't believe any of the Cayman athletes got selected. I know, for example, I think Ray got selected and he had to do his testing. Okay. But I don't think any of us did.
I know over the years there's been a perception that people in powerlifting, of course, use steroids, but we know, what I should say, have you been encountered with that, and what are your views on steroids?
So I work within a gym in Apollo in the UK, and so there's quite a lot of bodybuilders or people that are just going out for like aesthetics.
Yes.
And so it is quite an open talked about thing, mainly for the health wise.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately what you get a lot over the internet is people talking about all the things that are like steroids are really good for, but they don't talk about all the issues or consequences they could have.
Right.
And so as an open gym community, like the gym owner himself has sat down and talked to people and saying that this is a life-changing decision. Do you want kids, for an example? You have to take that into consideration with a lot of men, because a lot of men that come from a weaker side want to constantly just like quickly build up muscle.
Right.
It can be a good alternative for them, but equally so they have to be able to deal with the consequences. I have not met any females that have taken it, but I know of Tammy that has thought about it, and she's really open about talking about it as well, because she has a young kid and is kind of in that part of her career in bodybuilding that she's thinking, do I go and change into like a not natty, not natural,
right,
or do I stay on the natural route? And she's obviously in the wellness part of the bodybuilding community, and so talking about that's really important. But I've never thought about it. I don't plan to ever, or any kind of thing, but I think it is really important to talk about.
Awesome. And I wanted to also ask you all, what exactly are the judges looking for in each category? Because there were sometimes there were people that were sitting next to me that would say, no,
right.
You know, they felt differently from the judges, but what exactly are they looking for with the bench, the squat, and the deadlift?
Yeah. Okay, so for example, I failed my 140 squat, and everyone can see why I failed it, because I went down. So what you might not notice is someone might go to the very bottom and they might bounce with it. So that's when they go up and back down, then all the way up.
Okay.
As soon as you bounce, that means the bar is lowered, and so it's a no lift at that point, even if you get it back up. Then with the bench, the butt has to be grounded, the shoulders have to be grounded, the neck has to be grounded, so you can't lift your head up for whatever reason. The heels cannot leave the stance. That's why they then have the option whether you want like the platform part.
Okay.
To make it a little bit higher, so people with shorter legs actually can continue to have that arch, but aren't going to sacrifice their lifting their heels. Some people, for example, might also lift in their Olympic weightlifting shoes that they might use for their squat, because it gives them that little extra where their foot is not going to leave. And then for the deadlift, what they're mainly looking for is the same thing. If as soon as it lowers, even if you get it back up at that point, it's a no lift, or if you hitch it. Like I hitched my 140, and that's when you use your legs to support the bar before you pull it all the way up. Even though I got it up, I did hitch it, and so it was a no lift.
Okay. Oh, that explains a lot.
Yeah, and for deadlift, you definitely have to lock the knees out and get your shoulders back with movement. And for the bench press, the event that I haven't medaled in, one successful lift that I did have, the bar didn't reach down to my stomach and set at a certain angle.
Okay.
So that's how I was disqualified from that.
Oh.
But there's a lot of little nicks and knacks. You just have to know the game, and this was definitely an experience.
Yeah,
and we've learned a lot. Yeah.
So there's a full IPF rules book with everything. For example, what you're talking about is that command for press. So that's when the bar has to rest all the way on your chest, almost to the point that it indents the chest.
Yes.
And then at that point, you're given the press command. If it does not, the bar does not become stationary.
Okay.
It's a no lift. So it has to be stationary on the chest, then you get the press command, and it's all the way up. And it's the same thing. Some people then pull the rule that you should have your elbows lower than like your shoulders, for example. And so that's really important, and that depends on how far your arms are from like your shoulder width. Some people have it really far apart where they grip, and at that point they've got to pull all the way back. And it's a lot of back movement.
Okay. What I know, you guys worked among, you ladies worked among several other ladies that were either in your category or some may not have been in it. What was it like working with the other ladies in the tournament?
So within the Cayman team, they've all been really, really supportive.
Wonderful.
I love that. We have a all-females picture of us holding up the flag.
Yes,
and
I
everything
saw that.
afterwards.
That was really nice.
And it was really nice to have that. So Claire, for example, was there from the very start day of our lift, and she said she was there to support us, and it was absolutely amazing to have another female alongside of you that already had that experience of nervousness and all those emotions and was there to support. Outside of that, within the tournament itself, I think at that point, this is the problem we might have had with like interacting with people. Everyone's got their game face on, and so we don't really talk.
Yeah.
The major talking points is, can I share this rack with you? And that was kind of it.
Well, listen, even I was intimidating as a reporter. Going back, they said, they give me my pass and I can go back there. Mm-hmm. But then if they didn't get the lift, I'm like, I don't want to put a mic in this person's face. I can't put the mic in this person's face right now. I don't think
right.
Yeah, it intimidated me too. Yeah, exactly. So I understood that as well. Do you know how many medals we gathered in total?
So it would have been 4 from me, 2 from you. It would have been 3 from Mr. Tony. 3 from Roland. No, it would have been 4 from Mr. Tony because he got overall as well. Yeah. 4 from Zared, and then 4 from Roland.
Yeah.
Roland. And I believe that was all?
Yes, if we're not mistaken.
This was was that 14, 15?
Yeah, at least 14 medals.
That's amazing. Congratulations to you all. You guys did wonderful. I was very proud. That was actually my I believe it was my first time watching it. I've looked at bodybuilding before. I was telling Mr. Tony, it's a huge difference.
Yes,
definitely. And I actually enjoyed it a lot.
I'm glad.
I came back the next day and I sat and I watched like 2 hours worth until I had to run back to report. But it was wonderful, and I appreciate all the hard work that you all are doing.
Right.
Why don't you tell the ladies of the Cayman Islands why they should get involved in the sport and where they can get in touch with you all? Go ahead, Shania.
Okay. So for me, I'm easily contacted on my Instagram at Ari1.345, so the area code of the Cayman Islands. I'm very happy to talk to any female regardless of it. So obviously I'm an academic and also I'm a power lifter. But I've got lots of contacts of different people within sports, and I'm happy to put you into contact with another female, because I think it's really important that you have another female, even if they're not your senior, but as someone that has a bit more experience as your mentor. For example, it's a proven thing. If you have a friend that's also going with you to the gym, you feel accountable and you feel supported. Yeah. And it also really boosts your mental health as well, not just your physical health. So I think contact me.
Because there are a lot more men in the sport.
Right.
And sometimes as ladies, we feel more comfortable with women, but there are men that can probably assist you in a better way at some point.
Right.
We understand that. But we will feel more comfortable with a female partner that can assist us in that way. So, yeah, definitely do think that it'll be nice if more women do get involved in the sport.
And I think, not to take away from men or anything as well, but if you are at that point where you don't necessarily want to be alone with the man that's a power lifter,
right,
take a female power lifter with you, and that way you both gain this experience of someone that's male and dominates the kind of field. If he does, for example, both of us were talking with Ray,
Right.
and I felt really comfortable with her being there,
Yeah.
talking to this experienced person that's been there for like
Right,
10
that's been in the game
years.
for 10 plus years,
and we
yeah.
can both take like what I took away from the conversation, what she took away from the conversation, have a talk about it later as well.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Thank you all so much for stopping by. I appreciate you and all the best. That's it. That's it for Radio Cayman Sports Extra for tonight. Of course, Sports Extra is about giving you the latest information on sporting activities here in the Cayman Islands. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach me at sportsextracayman@gmail.com. You can also check out our social media pages to keep abreast of what's happening here in the country. And of course, our Radio Cayman YouTube channel that you guys were live on tonight. All right. So, and let's not forget our sponsor. For that carbs, go get it. Pizza Boat. I'm Dionne Anglin. Thank you so much for tuning in. Good night and God bless.
Thank you so much for having us.
Sponsored by Pizza Boat. Now open in Queens Court on West Bay Road. Pick up or delivery. Call 949,000 or order online at www.pizzaboat.ky.
Don't forget to like us on Facebook at Radio Cayman Sports Extra.
You know, as a coach, I thoroughly agree. The athlete has just qualified for the World Championship on a bigger stage in a bar.
The guys have we've been training for the last 5 months now, so they're in the highest.